Welcome to the Hraffen Viking Shipyard. If you want to build your own Viking boat, then this podcast is for you. My name is Andy Bennett. Follow me as I undertake the step-by-step process to build and sail a replica of a 900-year-old Viking Lapstrake sailboat. Specifically, I'm building a replica of a 7.7 meter long Viking workboat that was found in Denmark, and it dates to 1130 AD. The boat dimensions come from the Gislinge boat open source project. It's published by the Viking Ship Museum in Roskilde, Denmark. As I'm getting ready to plank my boat, I want to be sure to have all the tools ready for that process. And one of the tools that I want to build today is a scraper for the edges of the planks. What the scraper does is it puts a unique design onto the edge of each of the planks as you're doing the planking. And basically, it's putting a signature on the boat. I've read that the Vikings could tell who built a boat based on the edges of the planks. It was kind of a unique signature on each one of the boats, but it also is a guide for the riveting, and it kind of puts a finished edge to each one of the planks. So that's what I'm going to do today. When I build something, I usually sketch it out first on paper to make sure I don't screw things up. So here's my diagram for the plank scraper, and I've made it out actually to a 1:1 scale. You can see here is the front of the scraper. This is made out of spring steel, 1095 spring steel to be specific. And here's the teeth. They're going to be cutting the grooves. And here's some more spring steel down the side, and that's basically a guide that will go along the edge of the plank as I'm scraping. And then there's a steel bar that is going to serve as the handle. And then I can put another hand on top of that as I'm pushing down on it. So that's the concept. And then I got some spring steel off of Etsy. It cost me about $26 for a piece that's about 1 inch wide by 3/16, and it was about 1 foot long. Then I went to Home Depot and got another piece of 3/8 steel rod. We'll see how well this welds, because this is high carbon steel. I've not messed around with welding high carbon steel very much, so we'll see how that goes. So I'm going to take this into the shop now and cut it out with a abrasive wheel with my angle grinder. And let's go into the shop and see how that works out. All right, here's the pieces. You can see it came out pretty close to what I was looking for. There's the teeth cut out and fairly sharp now. I used my chainsaw file to sharpen it a little bit. That's what that looks like. Here's the edge guide that's going to go on there. You can see what that looks like. And then the handle's going to go right on there and get welded in place there. I didn't make the other two pieces that are going to go on top yet. Once I weld the handle in place, then I'll cut those two pieces out to the right size, and I'll weld those on as well. And then I'm going to put a wooden handle on the end here. So I cut a few grooves so that the glue would hold nicely in there, and we'll see how it goes. Okay, this is the finished plank scraper. I put a piece of ash wood from my fire pile on here. I put a little bit of linseed oil on it. The glue's still drying, so I'm not going to demonstrate the scraping capabilities right now. My welds aren't the prettiest. I used a stick welder, but I kept the welds on the outside, so it's clean on the inside where it's going to go up against the planks. And it's sturdy enough, I decided not to put the pieces of metal up on the top here. And that way, when I'm sharpening the teeth, if I need to do that, I can do that and I'll be able to see what I'm doing and it won't get in the way. And I don't think that will affect my ability to use this, putting pressure on the top as I'm scraping. So all in all, it worked out pretty quickly. Looks like it's going to be a decent tool. And once the handle dries, I'm going to drill a little hole here so I can just hang it on the wall too. So that's my project for today. I hope you found this video useful. And if you did, please click like and subscribe to my podcast so that you don't miss any future episodes. And as always, if you're in the Minnesota area, please stop in. Helping hands are always welcome around the Viking Shipyard. Thanks very much.